More and more people are asking us about investing in property using a self-managed super fund. And often people find it quite overwhelming because there's this perception that it's really complicated. Well, it doesn't have to be if you're working with the right people. I'm Emma Allen, the founder of Active Property Investing.
Hi, and I'm Michael Osborne from Your Future Advice.
We've got Michael back here because we'd love for him to share some of the key things that people are really concerned about that perhaps they shouldn't and don't have to be concerned about.
Yeah, it's a good point, Emma. I think what we find is that a lot of people see self-managed super funds as something quite scary. The complexity, they're concerned about the administrative burden. Look, ultimately, you'd be surprised. If you seek good advice and you've got the right team behind you, it can be easier than you think. Importantly, look, ultimately you do become a trustee and there are responsibilities and legal obligations, but that's where we step in to help clients.
Yeah, so really a property needs to fit within that self-managed super fund. But once you have the property, what happens from there?
Yeah, it's a good point. Look, for us, ultimately, our role is to work with the clients around strategy and their goals and objectives, and we leave the property up to the experts. But what happens from there is that we've seen too often, Emma, cases where people have had poor advice. They've had a self-managed super fund set up and there's a purchase of a property that's been made. There might be $100,000 or $150,000 in residual liquid funds, and it's just sitting in a normal bank account, earning nominal or sometimes no interest at all. So there can be a real danger. People really need to seek the right advice and have the right team behind them to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I like that because we're very much about making the most of what you have and being conscious about the decisions that you've got and the choices that you've got to really utilise that.
Absolutely, because the property is only one part of the strategy. The remaining liquid funds is not just the residual money, there's the ongoing super guarantee contributions, salary sacrifice, rental income. There's a growing portfolio there that's going to become very, very important. And for that to sit in just a standard bank account doesn't make sense. Looks like the client may have been ill-advised.
So if someone really wants to make the most of preparing for retirement, what's the final tip that you would give them around this kind of conscious investing?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. I think ultimately people need to understand today that the regulators see self-managed super funds as almost a financial product in themselves. And financial products need to be given under advice. So I would encourage people who are thinking about self-managed super funds to actually go and seek full financial advice first. That's going to make the difference. It may not be an appropriate vehicle for everybody, but if it's right for you, you're going to need the help.
And I've seen what it looks like when it's done correctly, so you can really accelerate that wealth creation and that conscious investment planning.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for
pleasure.
sharing your thoughts.
No problems.